As you know, Surfaces Reporter keeps a keen eye on new generation of promising architects and designers. As a result, Surfaces Reporter section Rising Star was created a decade back to lend a voice to young and upcoming architects and interior designer professionals of India. These professionals are selected on the basis of their body of work, potential and promise. Today we have architect Shalini Chandrashekar from Taliesyn Architecture and Design as our Surfaces Reporter Rising Star. She's in conversation with Vertica Dvivedi, Editor-in-Chief of Surfaces Reporter. Taliesyn is an architecture and design firm led by architects Shalini Chandrashekar and Mahaboob Basha, known for conceptualizing architectural and design solutions that inherently fulfill the sole intention of creating meaningful and appropriate spatial interventions. After having garnered extensive experience working with prestigious design studios, architect Shalini Chandrashekar and architect Mahaboob Basha started this joint venture in 2010 in Bangalore. With over 10 plus years of experience in the realm of design, the studio's practice is based on the notion of people, spaces and objects being in continuous dialogue with each other. It is the evolving interaction that drives the studio's impetus to create spaces in various domains of architecture. The firm has projects dotting the southern Indian frontier with a diverse portfolio of residential, hospitality, recreational, institutional and cultural genres of design. Let's hear more from architect Shalini in an interaction with Vertica Dvivedi, Editor-in-Chief of Surfaces Reporter.
Hi Shalini.
Hi Vertica.
I'm very happy to welcome you to Surfaces Reporter and very happy to tell you that Rising Star is a very close to heart section. I remember starting it about 7-8 years back. Our magazine is 10 years old and we started it because we wanted to give space to extremely hardworking and smart rising designers and architects who are working and who we see a lot of potential for the future. So we feel that Surfaces Reporter can probably take them a little more further or make their work much more visible. Okay, so it is about you, yourself and your firm. So I'll start with the first question that I have. How did Taliesyn start and what is behind the name?
Okay, we started in 2010. It was a very organic way of how we started things. We had collaborated, me and my partner, we collaborated on a project for a mutual friend, and this was a project in Hyderabad that we collaborated on. Our ideas kind of resonated, and then we realized we had so much fun doing this, and both of us had a shared passion of the design, and this is something that brought us together, and here we are today after 10 years. We've been doing a lot of projects, residences, a lot of hospitality projects, and that's how it started.
It seems like a natural progression of what you people did together, and you had so much of things to do that you wanted to do more things together.
No, it's very important that there's a shared passion, and there's kind of, you're working on a same wavelength, because especially when it comes to design, it's very important, to be on the same page. So that's something I think worked really well, and it took on from there.
Wonderful. So how did you coin the name?
When we started off, when you get into this profession or even while you're studying, you have certain people that you look up to, and Frank Lloyd Wright was one of the architects that's really inspired us. And we had this book in our office. We had very few books that time, and then this was always in our shelf, and we used to refer or go to that whenever possible. There's one project of his called Taliesyn West, his school of design. It's in the US and it's in an agricultural estate. So that's something, it's like a home. It was like a studio. It was in a farmland. So something that, really inspired us. And even the kind of details that has gone into making that space, the kind of the cultural reference it has. So that's something inspired us. And we kind of named our firm after that.
Tell us about your first project.
So our first project was an office for our mutual friend, like I had said earlier. It was an office for home automation. So it was to be in one of an existing building. So we had got one floor, about 1,500 square feet. And our brief was very simple. Client had told us very clearly that we need a space where people can experience what automation is. So this was something that we did for him. Like we, instead of creating rooms, instead of building walls, we inserted a cube within the space. So that kind of segregated all the spaces. But it did not, visually cut, or the flow was not cut by introducing this cube. This is something that, we did very early on. And I think even now the client calls and tells us that, it made so much sense to have something like that rather than creating rooms. So the kind of spatial quality, I think, was that we intended to do was kind of evident with the first project onwards. Something very informal where people can go around, experience it, and come back and sit in that cube where they can have their meetings and further take on the discussions. This was in Jubilee Hills, Hyderabad.
So far in your 10 years of your working, what has been your some of the greatest experiences?
It's been 10 years, and with every project that we do, we kind of improved upon ourselves. We've kind of learned so much from each project. Every step has been a part of a learning experience for us. And education, and especially in design, is like a never-ending process. And it's been good so far. The journey has been good. Because we enjoy our work so much, and we've had clients appreciating our work. That's something that's kind of fulfilling for us, because that's our main aim. Because the kind of designs we do are mostly user-centric.
Okay, so a lot of happy clients.
Yeah, so far so good.
So what I've seen is that most of your work is around Kerala, Karnataka, and the southern states. Okay, so how is your work? Are you limited or that area, or are you expanding and working beyond that state?
Because both of us are, when we started off, and we are based out of Bangalore, so it was easier for us to connect with people in and around us, probably. And we had a lot of known people giving us projects. That was something that happened very organically, I can say. It was not intended to be like that, but we've done a lot of projects in South India. But right now we're doing a lot of projects in Orissa, Chhattisgarh, Delhi. So slowly we are expanding.
How important is collaboration for especially young firms?
I think it's, because of the nature of our profession, and it's very collaborative in nature. So when we are looking to source, probably even, like furniture, there are so many young designers and, who just started off, they're doing some fantastic work. I think we want to encourage, because this is something that, we've been encouraged before. And when somebody is starting off, you kind of need that. So if we are in a position to probably help the other person in the same way, it really makes sense. And also when the kind of work that is happening nowadays, and it's really nice that people are creating some fantastic products around, and it's really even the cultural referencing that they're very strong at, it goes well with the kind of spaces that we are creating. So we're happy to collaborate with such people where we share the same wavelength as well. And in terms of like art, being in this country, we're exposed to so much of art. We have art in each and every corner of our country. And some of them are really diminishing because either the process is too long or it's not economically viable to carry out the same art anymore. We are in a position to probably help those kind of people, and we are also very interested to use such crafts and artisans and give them a platform wherein even we get something back out of it. So in a lot of projects, we've actually employed people from local art villages around Bangalore itself to create some furniture. So we've kind of collaborated with these local artists and we've given them a design wherein they can, produce some furniture pieces for us.
So what I was saying and what I understood is that when you collaborate, it's not only about giving or just taking, it's about both, right? Both. Yeah. When two different entities collaborate, it's all about, both are contributing and also expanding their own horizon.
Yeah, exactly.
What are the 5 things that you'd like to advise young and aspiring designers?
The first thing is be passionate about what you do, because that's something that drives you to create. Because in this field, it's very important to be self-motivated and to be really passionate about things. And the second thing is diligence and hard work. I think time and again it's been said that hard work pays, but this is something that we live by. The third is, to be focused. It's very clear. It's important to have a very clear goal as to what you want to achieve for yourself, probably even in few years down the lane. And it's important to work towards that. It kind of helps you, it kind of gives you a direction, what you want to achieve, I can say. Yeah. There can be setbacks and there will be setbacks. It's important to have the clear goal, and even if there are minor setbacks, you will not falter. You will have the drive to overcome all those things to finally achieve what you have in mind.
Is there any project that defines your design philosophy and you're really happy about that one project where you could really do a lot of things, like designers have a lot of ideas, aspirations to realize a lot of ideas, right? Or
correct.
Realize a lot of things that believe in, things they think are possible.
This project, it's called the Monsoon House, that we did a few years back. It's in Kerala. Our design philosophy is, our designs are more user-centric. So for us, the user is the most important idea to start off with. And this kind of spaces, the spatial quality that we would create for that person would vary with each person. And also in terms of materiality, we've kind of experimented with a lot of textures, we've experimented a lot of materials. Given the context, it's because it's situated in Kerala, we also had to keep in mind how the materials behave, because the humidity levels are really high. And the kind of spatial quality we wanted to achieve was that of grandeur. And so the whole entire process was directed towards achieving that effect.
Tell us, Shalini, about some of your inspiration, some, maybe a place you visited or people, designers, anything that you think has, many times there are inspiration which we are not able to kind of pinpoint, because inspiration happens every day in everything, we don't know.
Yeah, so this one architect that we are really inspired by, and we kind of try and, probably we try and, emulate him. So he's Peter Zumthor. And the kind of spaces that he creates, it's very poetic. And even the materials, they have that kind of, resonance that everything comes together to create that poetic space. So something that inspires us. And all his projects are people oriented. So this is something very important, that when as architects, when we are creating a space, or because of our intervention, we are bringing people together. So it feels really good and feels positive that we can have that effect. And we kind of try and, bring that in our practice as well, because it's very, very important. We are responsible probably for a lifestyle change, or even the surroundings around us. Our intervention, we feel, should be a positive one. Like, say, if we build a space and, the ecology of that space gets affected.
Any project, not of yours, but of anybody in India or anywhere in the world, any project that you really love?
Yeah, there are a lot of projects, but recently we're also, we are very inspired by Bijoy Jain's studio, Mumbai. So we love the kind of work that he does, and this was a project that was in Jaipur that I visited. It's called the Nila House, and so it's heritage building that he has restored and kind of given his own take on the entire space, and the kind of materials that he's used, very earthy, neutral tones. The light quality is amazing, and even the kind of details given the door, or small things. They go a long way in making a project. So this was something that really was interesting, and it was it was closer to home, and we could easily relate to it as well.
What has been the major challenge for you when you started up, and few years after starting up? Was it finance? Was it mentorship? Was it managing a lot of things together? Was it management?
It's nice in a way that we face all these hardships along the way, because it kind of makes who you are. It kind of defines you. So earlier on for us, what was more challenging was probably, having clients. Our first project was really easy, and it was a friend project, so it was very clear what we wanted. And as and when we progressed, and we did projects for other people as well. So it was 90% of the clients, we've really had good clients. We've been lucky that way. The other probably 10%, I can say, it was hard to convince them to be on board with our design, to take it more seriously, as I can say. And also when we started, there was no Instagram, it was not so big, and to put our work out there, that was also pretty challenging. And so far so good. It's really, the journey has been really good, and I'm glad we kind of faced the things that we did. It's made us wiser, I can say.
Yes, so it is obvious, and those who do not give you good experience give you good lessons.
Yeah, exactly.
How about management? Because as students, you are so focused in your kind of realizing ideas and thinking about ideas and all that. But when you start your own firm, and you know that it's not only about that, but you have to do a lot more. You have to convince the client, you have to get the work done, you have to get the money, you have to pay the money, and then you have to do a lot of things in between. How is that?
Yeah, exactly. So when you're starting off on your own, my first thing is you forget your sleep hours. They become shorter. Your working hours become longer. There are weekends and your weekdays. It starts blurring the line between your weekdays and your weekends. So you'll have to be prepared to put in that extra effort. And like I said earlier, hard work is something that you cannot escape from that. Also is something that kind of helped us get through all this, is because we really liked what we do, and all the other things seemed much smaller. The kind of satisfaction that you get from achieving your probably ambitions or your goals all the other hurdles or your other things just became smaller, I can say. It became more insignificant. Yeah.
Yes, I can get that, because that's the reason I told you that, passion fuels the work in the, when you are so passionate
Yeah.
about something, then you know that hurdles will
Yeah.
come and it's okay. You are ready to manage it. You're ready
Yeah.
to learn. You're ready to face
Yeah.
things. And
Yes.
that's what sometimes many of the established architects, they say that, okay, uh, for for anybody to start their own firm, they have to love architecture. They have to love all these things. Then only they can drive it. Then only they can learn the other things related to it. So, in your years of practice, were there any mistakes you made which you feel, young practices must avoid? Any advice about any mistake or anything that young startups must avoid?
Touchwood, we've kind of sustained whatever we started off with. But I see some of as people around me that they start off with a bang and they want to do a lot of things in very little time. They want to achieve things much faster. So I think we kind of knew what we were getting into, and we were patient enough. That's something which worked in our favor, I can say. Yeah.
Okay. So I would sum that up as patience, okay,
Yeah.
and not jumping too much, but going with the things as they come.
And it's very important to know your capabilities and to work on those capabilities, not take up too many things that you will not be able to do justice. Yeah.
Right. So, what kind of projects you have at the moment which are really keeping you awake?
We're doing a lot of large residences in that whole Kerala, Tamil Nadu belt, and right now a lot of people coming to us to build farmhouses, and we're also doing a lot of schools, hospitality. So wherever design is involved, I think we would love to be a part of that. And also, like I said earlier, we've kind of designed furniture for our own spaces, probably.
Okay, so that's a good point, and I would like to know about your, experience with product design. What kind of furniture designs have you done so far? Have you designed furniture for any of your projects, or are you planning to, create some kind of standalone signature furniture designs? What are you looking at?
So some of the furniture that we have designed so far, it has been project, and right now the collaboration that I was talking about, that we are collaborating with artists from a local village close to our city. So this would be something that reflects our heritage. We are inspired by the architecture around us, and we've kind of tried to bring in those ideas in the furniture that we're designing right now.
So my final question is about what is your opinion or message for Surfaces Reporter?
My message to you is, I think it's a good initiative that what you're trying to do, bring more people on your platform. Probably, in a way, you're connecting people. If your viewer, because of your viewership, it's very interesting that you've kind of ventured into this segment because there are a lot of untapped talent. If your magazine can achieve that, it'll be amazing.
Thank you so much. Good to know that. Definitely, we are trying to do that day in and day out. Shalini, it was great to talk to you, and
Thank you.
I'm more than sure with your kind of passion and with your kind of intent, the intent to add some meaningful intervention into anyone's life, project, or experience. That makes a whole lot of difference. Your project cannot go wrong in that way.
Yeah, correct.
So all the best from my side on behalf of Surfaces Reporter.
Thank you. It was.
Okay.
Thank you. It was lovely talking to you. Thank you.